We woke up to a beautiful springish snowstorm in New Hampshire and looking forward to a nice cozy day inside until we saw a group of Candia police officers run across our lawn and pound on our door and present me with a search warrant when I opened the door. It was the police chief, whom I know. He was very clear to say this is a search warrant for the grounds, but not for the house, even though they sort of made their way into the house to disarm us. We were forced to leave the house and spend the next 2.5 to 3 hours outside in the snow while they conducted their investigation. I can't say that I didn't expect this, although I thought we had resolved these issues. We moved here from Colorado, and it was a couple of year process. It cost me about $50,000 to move here. I had to move 2 businesses and a whole lot of horses and of course all of our household stuff.
Hi, handsome.
We did want to make sure that the horses were sheltered out of the driving snow. We always had that in Colorado.
These are all temporary because we had to get professional people to come in and build fences, which are all back here.
Yeah, because the fences I built fell down.
They fell down.
No, don't.
All of this is temporary. We had to do panels just for a short term. We had everything built up along here, and the snow load caved it in.
We got a knock on the door. My son was at home alone, and this rude man bellowed that he has to look at the horses' shelters. And Cooper said, "Excuse me, who are you?" He says, "I have to make sure your horses are properly sheltered." I'm not sure he identified himself. And my son said, "No, my father's not here. I don't have permission to let anybody on the property. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." And then he said, "If you don't let me on the property, I'm going to call the police." And my son knows his rights better than this guy apparently, and knows that the police don't have any right to come on the property either. So we had nothing to hide. The horses are back there. You can see the shelters from the road, but for some reason he felt like he needed to be on the property. It was just about property rights.
Hey, they think I'm trying to hide something. You know, because I have blankets on them.
Apparently this man claims to have been a law enforcement officer for 25 or 30 years. We can't figure out, the number keeps changing. So this man went out to the street, made a cell phone call, and within, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, a Candia police officer came by. They conversed for a minute, and my son went out to see what was going on, and he grabbed his camera to protect himself and the officer and the private citizen. And they got to talking for a while, and the officer was saying, "We just want to see the property," and Cooper knows that he doesn't have any right to do that. It's about property rights, not about the horses. So a little bit into the conversation, a few minutes, and the officer said, I don't want to be recorded after all." And Cooper said, "Yeah, so noted." And he said it again, "If you don't turn off that camera, I'm going to take you downtown." So Cooper said, "I'm not going to turn it off." Then the officer came around and took the camera from Cooper and disarmed him and put him in handcuffs and arrested him. News of that attack, I can't call it anything else, on our private property got out to the community. He never showed up with a search warrant, and I thought the matter was settled. We finished moving the horses in, built some more sheds to make sure the horses were safe. And he did point out in this video that New Hampshire law requires shelter for animals, adequate shelter, between November 1st and April 15th, I believe it is. We had adequate shelter for the horses. Funny thing about horses, even when it's snowing, they might decide to stand outside the shelter. There's nothing you can do to force them in the shelter. So all summer, or all winter during the snow, there was always room in the shelters. Some horses choose to be outside, some horses choose to be inside. So we didn't think there was a problem. And we had a pretty bad winter, I would say. I mean, compared to Colorado, it was pretty bad. Yeah, I guess even for New Hampshire it was bad. The snow was a lot wetter here than it is in Colorado, and we weren't prepared for that. We didn't build for that necessarily, and we had some damage when we had a bad ice storm this winter, and a couple of the sheds were damaged. And the fences were also damaged, so we went out there, we fixed the fences. That was the major thing, and we tried to clear up as much of the damaged shelters as we could, in the snow. And we built some new shelters. In fact, we're in the process of building another one when this raid happened on Monday, and they took 12 of our horses. There was a vet that came by, who was actually our vet, our new vet, not anymore. This guy came out to the house a couple of weeks before because we had one horse had a swollen leg. She was kicked by another horse. And normally Heidi would have taken care of this by, wrapping it up and giving the horse some penicillin because she had a bit of a temperature. But this new vet would not allow that. He would not give us penicillin like our old vet did for 20 years in Colorado. This one insisted on coming out, and instead of a $10 charge, it was a $226 charge. So a couple of weeks later, which was last Monday, he was the vet examining our horses and deciding which ones would be on the trailer and which ones wouldn't. I still don't know what criteria he used. These horses are happy and healthy. All horses go through phases. I mean, the older horses, we can never keep enough weight on them. Any horse owner knows this, apparently. I knew it, the horse business myself. The stallions, you always have trouble keeping weight on because they move around a lot trying to impress the girls. The new mothers will lose a lot of weight because they give it all to their babies. That's what they do. So we keep blankets on the ones that we can't keep as much weight on, and all of them have free hay. Free hay means we don't feed them once or twice a day. They have a big pile of hay they can eat all day long. We have plenty of big piles of hay out here.
Now, did they always have hay from the move, from when you first had the horses here up until today?